It is very common that people's fat loss attempts will be hindered or completely eliminated by the consumption of alcohol and the consumption of high calorie foods that tends to come along with that. The whole purpose of this video is to give a solution or a set of solutions that should solve the problem if you take on board everything I have to say in this video. Now, it should go without saying that I'm not necessarily endorsing heavy alcohol consumption as a way to be physically or mentally healthy, but it is just a fact that many people would like to still consume alcohol, and in some cases consume it heavily while losing weight. Let's start first with the problem with consuming alcohol while attempting to lose body fat. Firstly, alcohol contains calories, so a gram of alcohol is 7 calories, so there is calories in the alcohol itself. And not to mention, alcoholic beverages are usually high in carbs also, which brings about more calories. And people usually aren't drinking 1 or 2 drinks in a night. To give you some examples, a pint of beer or cider is usually around 200 calories. A unit of vodka along with a soda or energy drink mixer is usually around 180 calories. Alas, it is completely normal for somebody to drink 5 pints in a night, and that's totaling over 1,000 calories. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is the food consumption that tends to come along with alcohol. People coming out of nightclubs aren't going to McDonald's and buying those little plastic bowls of fruit that they sell with the Happy Meals. They're consuming usually a large number of calories, not often making the best choices or the choices that fit in line with their diet, rather the choices that they just feel like at the time. So there's your problem. Alcohol consumption can completely undo a week worth of good work. Fortunately, there are many solutions that we can implement to make this less of a problem or just not a problem at all. The first of these solutions is going to be making calorie conscious decisions. So I'm going to give you some examples of what these calorie conscious decisions might look like when on a night out. Firstly, regarding drink, let's just compare a few different types of drinks and their calorie contents. A vodka and Red Bull or a vodka and Coke will typically be about 180 calories, whereas a vodka and Diet Red Bull or vodka and Diet Coke is going to only be 80. A bottle of Budweiser is 150, whereas a bottle of Coors Light is about 100. A Sex on the Beach cocktail is about 250. And a gin and slimline tonic is only 115 calories. And just to briefly mention food options, a medium Domino's pizza is over 1,700 calories versus a medium McDonald's meal with a Coke Zero, 850 calories. Some of those differences might seem very large, some of them might not seem too big, but they do multiply when you're having many drinks. For example, 5 pints and a medium pizza is 2,750 calories, whereas a medium McDonald's meal with a Diet Coke and 5 vodka Diet Cokes over the course of a night is 1,250 calories. So that's solution number 1. But even if you're consuming 1,250 calories on a night out, that's still a significant amount. So there are a couple of other things that we can do to make things much easier for ourselves. Solution number 2 is calorie planning, or also known as calorie cycling. Just because you, for example, need to eat 2,000 calories in order to lose the amount of weight each week that you want to lose, doesn't mean that you have to eat 2,000 calories exactly every single day. It just means that you need to average this over the course of a week and over the course of months. If you were to eat, in the same example, 1,800 calories Monday to Friday, and then you had 3,000 calories on Saturday, and your normal 2,000 on Sunday, you would average 2,000 over the course of the week and you would still lose weight. So that is essentially what I advise you to do. Buffer calories by eating 100 to 200 calories less leading up to your night out. The reality is most people who go about their day normally and don't track their calories do this anyway. Most people don't eat as much Monday to Friday and they treat themselves a bit more on the weekend. They go to cafes, they go for drinks, they go to restaurants, they go to the cinema. So it's quite normal for people to have skewed calorie intakes or varied calorie intakes throughout the course of the week. So don't convince yourself that you're being weird or unusual by eating less Monday to Friday so that you can eat more on a Saturday. Now on to the third piece of advice that I have for you. And this is going to be centered around what you should actually do on the day of this heavy night out. The first thing that I would say to you is obviously you're going to be consuming a large amount of calories at the end of the night. So even like that example where you have a medium McDonald's meal, a Diet Coke and 5 vodka Diet Cokes, that's still 1250 calories. You probably want to eat less in the lead up to the night out. Your breakfast and lunch are probably going to be a bit lighter than usual in order to account for the calories that you're going to be having later on that night. The next simple piece of advice is to get in more protein for your breakfast and lunch. Maybe have an extra protein shake because you probably aren't going to be getting much in the night out itself. And the third tip on the day is workout, or at the very least, make sure you've planned for a rest day the day after your night out, because in my experience and in many other people's experience, you're just not really likely to train the day after a night out, and it's impossible to predict how heavy of a night out it might be. So I wouldn't suggest just banking that you're going to feel okay to train. Instead, I would suggest getting it done when you're fresh the morning or the afternoon before you go out. If you make calorie conscious decisions, you cycle or buffer your calories throughout the week, and you manage the day itself correctly, you shouldn't really have a major issue going on the occasional or even the weekly night out and having fat loss success. Then comes the question, what if I want to do this more than once a week? What if I want to have a heavy night out twice in a week? My brutally honest piece of advice for you here is it's not impossible. I have known people in the past to achieve fat loss success while having a couple of heavy nights out each week, but you're seriously diminishing your chances of this is the case, and I would ask you to reevaluate how important your dieting goals are for yourself right now, how important your drinking and kind of social life is to you right now, and ask yourself, can you come to a bit of a compromise? Do you have to have a heavy night out twice a week? Does one of them need to be a lighter night out for yourself? I don't want to dash your hopes, but don't be surprised if you don't have diet success while engaging in 2 heavy nights out per week and not attempting to compromise in any way. I have one last thing to say about drinking alcohol and fat loss. There is a prevailing attitude that how fun you are is directly correlated to how much you drink or how much fast food you binge on after a night out. People may unfortunately make derogatory statements about you if you choose to drink less, drink not at all, or restrain yourself from eating fast food on account of your diet. What I would honestly say to you is that these people don't have your best interests at heart, and don't be lowered to their level by allowing that to pressure you into ultimately consuming things you don't want to consume that won't make you feel good about yourself just because you were pressured into it. I appreciate it's not easy to resist that pressure, but ultimately know that you are doing it for yourself and doing it for the right reasons. I would encourage you to treat alcohol and fast food as a side act when it comes to your social life, and the actual socializing and the company you keep as the main event. And if you can't enjoy the company you're keeping without alcohol, then, well, that's a bit of a problem. I really hope you've taken a lot from this video. This advice has helped myself and countless clients achieve fat loss without having to give up their social life, and I hope it helps you. Please subscribe if this is useful to you, and comment below if there are any videos like this that you would like to see, or if you just have any questions in general.